There is this alarming report today from the entity that manages New York City hospitals that if you're in cardiac arrest somewhere in New York City and EMTs show up and they can't revive you on site, there's now a change in protocol where they are not taking you to a hospital to try to revive you there, because the hospitals are so overwhelmed. It does seem like having that hospital ship in New York Harbor with no coronavirus patients on it, with, as far as we can tell, hundreds of empty beds and staff there to deal with it, they could be taking the few trauma patients, the few heart attack patients, the other people who now can't get into New York City hospitals.
Well, theoretically they can. You know, this is all new. You have protocols that aren't really established that have to be set up. Theoretically, the U.S. Navy ship Comfort could take a non-COVID trauma case. So I don't know how that protocol works on that. But look, we're all doing the best we can trying to put together a system that can handle over 150, 200% of what the system is designed to do. And the federal facilities are an advantage. For us, what it's going to come down to is the staff burnout, staff getting sick. We have 80,000 volunteers. Can we get them oriented to the right hospitals and in the right places? And then the equipment. And these ventilators that I never heard of before now become the most precious piece of equipment and the difference between life and death. You literally can't acquire them. And we're looking at, right now, we have about enough ventilators for 6 days at our current burn rate, right, of how many we use, how many additional ventilators we use every day. We get past that point, if we're not yet at the apex, we're going to be in a bad place. We have a backup plan to come up and with additional ventilators by basically MacGyvering the ventilators. But this is truly frightening. I've handled a lot of emergencies, a lot of disasters as governor and in the federal government. But there's by far and away nothing comes close to this in terms of the need for intelligent, rigorous, muscled government to respond quickly and smartly. It all comes down to whether your health care system can handle it. There's no concept here. There's no philosophy. It's, can you handle the number of people walking in the door? That's all this is. And if you can't, people die. That's what this is. And the simplicity is what makes it so tragic, frankly. Because we don't have a piece of equipment, someone's going to die. Because we don't have staff, someone's going to die. How did we get to this place in this country that we have to buy all our supplies from China? I can't get protective equipment because China is making it. China is making the ventilators. We couldn't figure out how to make protective equipment quickly enough. We couldn't figure out how to make ventilators. We can't figure out this rolling deployment, which makes all the sense in the world, and it's frankly simpler for every locality. I said we have 20,000 volunteers coming from across the country. I said I will return the favor. When we get past our apex, I'll pack up every ventilator, I'll bring our entire health team, and I'll go to any community across the country. I will drive personally and provide them the assistance and thank them for what they did to New York. That's what we do. You know, there's something called mutual aid in an emergency, in a flood or in a power utility, where utility companies flex. If you remember, you'll see on the road large utility trucks whenever there's a national emergency. Arizona trucks driving to New York City trucks driving to Florida. That's how we react to those emergencies. We, mutual aid, you flex with the need. That we could be doing here. And the consequences are going to be devastating. And what keeps me up at night is not just the numbers, but a deep sense that it didn't have to be. It didn't have to be.